Voting is underway in California over whether to recall Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, an election that's costing taxpayers $215 million, even though, that's right, there's another gubernatorial election next year. But this is not just whether Californians want to recall the governor, it is whether they and who they want to replace him with should they vote to recall him. So there are 46 candidates on the ballot. Newsom's name is not on that second portion of the ballot, meaning whichever candidate gets the most votes could replace Newsom, even if that candidate gets far fewer votes than the number of people who voted to keep him. Does that sound undemocratic? It is, and let's look at the graph of how close it is currently. Voting is beginning, but it ends on September 14th. Here we have Newsom pretty much neck and neck with a 3-point lead over defeating the recall. And this is according to 538. Who is leading the candidates among the 46 to replace Governor Newsom? That would be Mr. Larry Elder, a conservative radio host who doesn't believe in a minimum wage or climate change. And he's leading by 13%, or 13 points, excuse me, with I think about 21% of the vote for the recall. But Larry Elder is in a little bit of hot water recently with the MAGA crowd over his views of the 2020 election. This was him just a couple weeks ago on August 9th about whether he thinks the election in 2020 was stolen from Donald Trump or not. Take a look.
Do you believe Joe Biden won the 2020 election freely and fairly?
I do believe that Joe Biden won the election fairly and squarely.
Okay, so that was Larry Elder. We just saw him August 9th. Here he is on August 14th on a morning AM show called Morning Answer. And this is him asking for forgiveness for what he just said a week earlier.
Clarify here so people know from your own mouth what was said and what you think about the 2020 election.
Sure, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. I also would recommend that you take a look at an article in Newsweek that came out yesterday written by Paul Bond, because he called and asked me the same thing. Do I believe that Joe Biden won the election fair and square? Give me a mulligan on that one, Jen and Grant. No, I don't.
Give me a mulligan on that one. No, I don't. How quickly they turn when they see that folks like Jenna Ellis, let's bring up this tweet, are getting pretty mad. Larry Elder attempts a mulligan on the Biden fair and square comment and still goes into the sand trap. Rules of the game, shouldn't wear flip-flops while playing. No idea what that means, Jenna. I feel like all you guys were doing in Trump's attempt to overturn an election was wearing flip-flops. Just flip-flops on a rainy day on top of tiled sidewalk. The point is, she then has another tweet. Her recall answer is yes, and vote for Kevin Kiley. One of the many Republicans coming out and trying to vie for this spot. So Larry Elder attempts to bring Republicans in California into reality. He's leading in the polls, and then he gets struck down and quickly changes his tune. What do y'all think? Does this matter when it comes to all the Republicans who are fired up about this recall?
So I have a couple of things to say. First of all, this reminded me of something that happened recently. Larry Elder playing the role of Kyle Kalinske, Jenna Ellis playing the role of Jimmy Dore. I do not accept your apology. You have not been pure enough. We need you to be more insane. Okay, maybe you got to do that wide eyes. So. Yeah, you can't ever convince the so-called purists, and in this case, the purely insane. And in this case, that's the majority of the Republican Party. So you think Larry Elder's switching because of a rando like Jenna Ellis? Jenna Ellis is should be in an asylum. All the things she said during the election and after the election, none of it was true. It was all totally unhinged, and it was bizarre. And she's a legitimate player in the Republican Party. And so I think look, I remember debating Larry Elder all the way back in 2004 at one of the conventions. We were so loud in fighting back and forth that there was a giant crowd gathered around us, okay? But back then, the Republican Party was awful, hideous, but not fully insane. And so hence Larry Elder was deeply conservative and totally pro-war and all the things that we fought about, but gave no indication of being mentally unbalanced. And so, like at that time, he wasn't even saying terrible things about black people. Okay, because that's the Republican Party had not gone full racist, full crazy yet. So now he slips every once in a while and says something sane. And then he's like, I need a mulligan. I need a mulligan. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I forgot we were having a convention at the mental asylum. And so the inmates didn't like what I said. I meant, yes, smear the food all over yourself, especially in your face and your ears. And the crowd goes, ah, right? And so I love to see it. Yeah, vote for Kevin Kiley or something. I don't know, split your vote. Be insane, go for it.
I mean, this is kind of what they wanted, but now it's out of control. Like, they stoked these coals for years. They've winked and nodded and blew kisses at conspiracy theories because they thought it would help enrich their base and get people to the polls. If they were fired up over QAnon, if they were fired up over Pizzagate, these types of dangerous and in some instances violent conspiracy theories. And that just kept snowballing, and it gained steam. And now you have a rabid, frothing base who wants more. Who, if you do not accept their alternate reality, you're not one of them. And I think you're going to have, hopefully a faction in the Republican Party that breaks away from it. But then it ultimately splits their vote because they just can't reconcile these two different camps. You have people who are just completely detached and untethered from the rest of the world, who believe that there's a cabal under a pizza shop, who believe that someone is on a message board telling them all of these government secrets and everyone's being killed and rounded up. And then you have people who just flat out deny reality and accepting election results. You can't come back from that. Like, you're not going to be able to deprogram this giant cluster within your base. So they got what they wanted in the short term. They got a robust turnout for Trump in 2016, but that is so gone now. These people are lunatics.
Yeah, and just to that point, now there is word that, because of all the misinformation and all the mistrust that was sowed about the 2020 election, that a lot of Republicans in California think that, let's be real, even though this is stacked in their favor, this is 100% stacked in Republicans' favor, this California recall. All they have to do is get a plurality of votes. They could get like 11% and still win against, if Newsom loses by 49%, right? 49%, vote to keep him and 51 vote to recall. They could still win with that, but because they've been fed so many lies about the electoral process, a lot of them are thinking and wondering whether or not their vote even counts. So that's sort of what these Trumpers in this state are going through. They want to bring out their base.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.